You're in the CNN newsroom and still ahead. The Golden State governor takes on the Sunshine State governor. New CNN reporting on why California's Gavin Newsom is launching an attack ad on Florida's Ron DeSantis. That's next. The re-election team for California Governor Gavin Newsom is out with a new political ad, except it's not airing in his home state. It will air on the other side of the country, in Florida, on July 4th. The target? Republican governor and rumored presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. Take a look.
Freedom, it's under attack in your state. Your Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors. I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight or join us in California.
Earlier, I spoke with CNN's Isaac Dover, one of the reporters who broke this story about what Newsom is up to.
He says that what he is doing is not running for president, but what he's trying to do is get his party to wake up and to be much more aggressive. He said to me the rules of engagement have changed and that there needs to be a different approach that Democrats take to dealing with Republicans. He says Ron DeSantis is the target here because Ron DeSantis is the poster child for what Republicans are becoming and what it is in a post-Trump politics. He said, we're as different as daylight and darkness to me. And he really wants to draw that contrast out and do it as aggressively as possible.
I mean, it's pretty fascinating that Newsom, not too long ago was facing a recall challenge. He's obviously come out of this even more politically emboldened that he can feel confident enough to run ads in Florida during his own re-election bid. So how's DeSantis responding to all of this?
Well, DeSantis' response is, well, he can light money on fire if that's what he wants to do. But Newsom is doing this in a very deliberate way. The ad is airing on Fox. It's airing on July 4th. It is very focused on the idea of freedom, of redefining the term into something that Democrats should be talking about again. He says, he told me when we spoke last week that he's worried that Republicans are winning in defining the terms of the debate, and they're winning in what's going on here, and he wants to grab that back. But you're right. A year ago right now, he was facing a recall and a lot of trouble. Now things are very different for him.
And it also probably doesn't hurt that it gets us talking about it as well, which
obviously
is also might be part of the strategy. So obviously now everybody's thinking, is this all about 2024? Which is interesting to think about it because conventional wisdom would say that the front runners are Donald Trump and Joe Biden, not these two other guys. But is this about 2024? Are we seeing kind of the first salvos in that potential battle in a couple of years?
Well, look, it's certainly what it would feel like if Newsom weren't going out of his way to say no, 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 no anytime anybody's asked, including me. He says that's not what this is. But Ron DeSantis, of course, he said it does look like he's running for president. And there's a lot of thinking that DeSantis could be angling to be the alternative to Trump out there. There is a big fight going on here between the Florida view of the world, the Ron DeSantis view of the world, and the Gavin Newsom view of the world and the California view of the world. And so is that the future of the party? Is this going to be 2024 or 2028? A little preview here? Maybe, but for right now, it's Gavin Newsom deciding to spend $100,000, not a huge amount of money in the context of a re-election campaign. There is a lot of interest in both of these players as potential leaders of the party. And I think it's because it's not just who they are or who they are demographically, but what they are leading, what they're representing out in the country. Ron DeSantis has a very clear governing agenda, and Gavin Newsom has a very clear governing agenda. They do not match up at all. And in a country that is divided and trying to figure out which one we are going for, you see that in a lot of ways we're deciding between a Newsom-style, California-style approach or what is the DeSantis, Florida-style approach.
Wow. And still ahead, a look at how a much more expensive a July 4th cookout will cost this year. Plus, inflation is keeping the American dream out of reach for so many right now. We'll look at the struggle for people trying to buy their first home. The cost of a 4th of July cookout is way up from last year. The American Farm Bureau Federation says it will now cost an average $69. That's up 17% from 1 year ago.
People who called us in 2021 on average had about $10,000 in credit card debt. People on average calling us this month, it's at $14,000.
That's significant. That's a lot of money.
So it's 40% higher than it was last year. Like that to me is like, holy cow.
So the Federal Reserve says now that revolving credit debt, which includes credit cards, hit a record $1 trillion. That's up 20%.